1, 2, 3. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed.
Munchausen. That sounds nasty. Is it contagious?
Welcome.
Hi, welcome back.
Here we are.
We're here, you're here, everybody here, Kim's here.
Kim is here as our little Sally Salt.
Oh, Salty Sally.
She's going to badger us into some new adventures for the adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Oh,
You
you
gonna
did
say
it.
I did it without
did
the
it?
Vaughn.
I know. I'm pretty sure there was a timeline shift somewhere.
Yeah, so we're pretty positive there was a Mandela effect happening and that this movie used to be called Baron von Munchausen.
Yeah, The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen. Like,
But
it
no.
hurts the music if you don't say the von part.
Yeah, but no, it's just the adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Yeah, whatever. I even capitalized the von
just to make sure we
just
say
to make
it.
sure that everybody knows.
And before we get into it, Doom Bills.
Give them the business.
So firstly, I would like to thank our new patrons, Billy
Welcome,
and
welcome.
Vanessa.
Thank
you so much.
Welcome and thank you.
And if you want to be a patron, patreon.com/Doom Generation. And if you want to follow us on Instagram and see all of our super cool photo edits, it's Doom Generation Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Doom Gen Pod, doomgeneration.threadless.com for merch.
Yeah.
And follow us on Stream Lounge. We're going to do some watch alongs.
I'm going to try to.
And I think that about covers it.
That's it.
So, this movie, I never remember if I saw movies in the theater, but I remember this one because it did the thing that happens in Gremlins 2, only without the gremlins, where when we sat down like 5 minutes into the movie, the reel melted.
Oh, shit.
And you could see
like caught fire.
you could see it on the screen. And so
Wow.
we had to get our money back and go see it at a later show.
I don't think I saw this in the theater. Again, this would have been the time when my brother was like little. But I feel like this is a movie that I saw because my mom wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no, one
this
of my
was something that
babysitters
she showed
took me. I don't know. I think he was a Terry Gilliam fan.
Well, yeah, that would be why my mom would have shown it to
Yeah,
me.
and so he took me to see this movie in the theater. So I would have seen it when I was 8 or 9. I
Yeah.
don't know what month it came out, but
Depending on, this 1988 is what the
yeah. So I was
release
8 or 9
year
years
was.
old when I saw this. So this movie's been a part of my life since I was 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty little the first time I saw it,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. So, yeah.
And I think I had already, because of the same babysitter, probably been watching Monty Python's Flying Circus.
And
so-
because of my mom, I'd seen, I'm sure, Holy Grail and
yeah,
all of that.
the basics.
The basics, the good stuff,
And so we've got the cast
right? John Neville
as Hieronymus Karl Frederick Baron von
Right?
Munchausen.
Thank God.
He says it his damn self. It is on his tombstone.
He says it his damn self. Eric Idle as Berthold and Desmond. Charles McKeown as Rupert and Adolphus. Jack Purvis as Jeremy and Gustavus. And I guess Terry Gilliam always features little people. And amongst those little people, Jack Purvis is always included.
I was going to say he's Time Bandits and yeah. We'll
Which I
to
get
that
mixed
one
up with. That's
eventually.
part of a trilogy, I guess, like an informal trilogy.
Oh,
This
okay.
movie, Time Bandits, and
Brazil.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely do Time Bandits eventually.
Yeah, at some point. Because that one, like I said, I get them mixed up.
Yeah,
But
I
this
loved
one I
that one.
remember more.
Same. I think I watched this one more.
Yeah. Dennis Winston as Bill and Albrecht. Sarah Pauli as Sally Salt. Oliver Reed as Vulcan. Uma Thurman as Rose and Venus. Robin Williams, uncredited and unpaid.
Really?
Yeah, I guess he went, and Sean Connery was supposed to do this. Yeah. As the
It wouldn't have
Moon
been the
King.
same. It would have been a different
I mean,
vibe.
yeah.
I mean, he could be the king of the moon.
Well, he could, yeah, I suppose he could. I'm tickling your feet.
You didn't know you were coming here to get some Sean Connery, but guess what?
Sometimes.
Bonus.
Bonus. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I guess he filled in for it. He got there, landed wherever it was that they were, Spain, I think, and then did it that day and then bailed.
Oh, Robin Williams did?
And he's credited as Ray D. Tuto.
Because that's what he says his name
Right,
is, right?
yeah. So he's the king of the moon, Roger, and Ray de Tuto.
That's funny.
His agent didn't want them.
Right.
Yeah.
His agent didn't what?
He didn't want Robin promoting.
Yeah, he didn't want Robin
Why didn't
Williams
they
promoting.
want Robin
I don't
Williams
know.
promoting the movie?
I don't know, but there's so many
Interesting.
actors
Actors.
in this with Jonathan Price. And,
Yes.
you know, all the people. What's
Got a
his
little
name? Bill
cameo by
Patterson.
Sting.
Yeah, as the
Random.
heroic soldier.
Yes.
Just bring him in, take him out, execute him. That's it.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
That's his big spot. But he do look fine though.
I mean, with them cheek
He good looking man.
bone.
He a good looking man.
He,
I don't want to have sex with him for 8 hours.
No, I don't want to have
Sting.
sex with anybody for
Sting,
8 hours. That's a
chill
job.
The fuck out. Your
I'd have to
wife don't
clock
want to
in.
bang for 8 hours.
I mean, maybe Trudy do. I don't know.
That's true. I don't
Because
know
she's
your life,
into
Trudy.
it too. So I don't know. Like maybe, I mean, if you got
Well,
to
then
practice.
you found your soulmate because I don't
mean,
want to fuck nobody for 8
I work
hours.
full time, so it's like this is already
Ain't nobody got time for that.
right. This is already like a hobby that I'm doing on the side
Yeah.
of working full time. So I can't
Like,
imagine.
are you paying me?
Right? Like I'm right. I have
know
to
you're my
clock
husband,
in.
but do I get diamonds after this?
or
8
something.
hours.
I don't know.
Damn, I gotta cancel all kinds of shit.
Like that's a lot of concentration to
that
maintain.
that's not like an everyday thing. Are we talking like once a month you have an 8 hour sesh? Well, that's
okay,
different.
right. We
That's
get up
different.
on a Sunday morning,
Right? Spend the whole day in bed. That's a different
Doing
story.
breathing and
But you're telling
bending.
me like once a week, twice a week.
no,
You need an 8 hour.
no,
I'm
we're
sorry,
not doing
sir.
that. Nope. I don't know what that whole thing is about. I don't know what it's about.
Tantric sex. I don't either.
Long
Edging, I guess.
Yeah,
is what it's
that's
about.
what it kind of seems like. That
That's
seems
a
like it's
fancy
part
way
of
of
it.
saying I'm really good at edging. So anyway, it's the
when
late
a-
18th century,
Right
The
there, it
age
is.
of reason.
It's a Wednesday.
A Wednesday.
The Turkish army is attacking. What is that? France.
I don't even know. It never really says
It
where
looks
they
like-
are, do they?
They look like little toy
the soldiers look like, yeah,
and they. I don't know. There's dragon cannons and explosions and destructions. and
chaos.
people are living in horse heads and cannibalism. They have to remind people is outlawed.
Yes.
And a little girl is out there crossing out Henry Salton's son and writing in daughter.
Yes. So that's little Sarah Polly.
Little Sarah Polly.
And she goes in to where her father's theater company is putting on a Baron Munchausen play.
Right,
And her father is playing Baron Munchausen.
right. And I love these
I
paper
wrote exactly
backgrounds
that.
and
I'm
like
like,
the
I love
spinning
this.
suns and the way they do the
Yes.
ocean and the big monster mouth and all
What's
that.
the fucking oh my god. Daryl Hannah, Liam Neeson.
Oh,
And it had that part where they did those sets and then the octopus
Yes.
came out and grabbed
yes.
them.
What was it?
What is the name?
They do this in
It's not
another
Haunted
movie.
Honeymoon, but it's something. It's oh god damn it!
Fuck. Is it High Spirits?
Yes,
Yes.
High Spirits. I think that's the one. But yes, they had same
Yes.
thing. Where like that's why that movie has a place in my heart is that same shit. I love
yeah.
those moving
That's-
sets.
I love that.
It's like 3D. Like that was 3D back then.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just so well done. They got all them ropes and pulleys. That lady with
It
the
was
baby,
fucking
like,
hard. Yes,
Seriously,
to pull
shit's
that
on
off.
fire. There's explosion.
Bloody soldiers and families are watching this play while
Right.
bombs are going off. Whatever.
And again with these wigs with the ships in them.
Yeah,
I love a wig with a ship in it.
gotta love it.
I want it.
And this play depicts him being eaten by a big sea monster and blown out the blowhole because a modicum of snuff is what I find a modicum of
always
snuff
efficacious.
is always
efficacious.
efficacious.
Efficient.
It's
It's efficient.
sorry,
I don't know.
Sorry to your ears for that.
I
one.
only read it. I don't know what it sounds like because I don't remember. I only watched this movie today before I came over.
and already don't remember.
And I already forgot.
So Sally gets up on stage. Her father chases her down, and she's like,
Right.
"So where's my brother?"
Yeah.
These
she
posters
confronts
are
him.
Henry Salton's sons.
Right. He's like, I should have never taught you to read.
And he's like, that's just the way. Like,
Right.
you just,
it's
you,
tradition.
you just make it and sons. And
Right.
she's like,
Whatever. That's bullshit.
And then who should arrive but the actual Baron
The
Munchausen?
apparent real Baron sees the poster advertising his stories. Advertising his stories. And and then here comes Sting. This is where they
Yes.
bring him in and take him out. He gets executed. And yes, this must be the year that Katerina's hairdresser was talking about, in which everything is Turkish. From
Oh,
Amadeus.
yeah.
Like everything is, well, the Turks they're invading, but
Yeah.
I mean, like all the clothes seems very Turkish of the same times.
Gotcha. So yeah, they take him out to be executed, and the next act of the play starts when the Baron appears at the back of the theater yelling, "Lies!"
Right? He's like, this is bullshit. I'm the real Baron. I'm not going to put up with this. And he like takes out his sword and slices off the tip of the fake Baron's nose. And he's like fucking up the sets and causing mayhem.
And then he sees them beautiful ladies
Oh,
and is entranced.
hello.
And he says that's the only right thing about this whole production is these beautiful ladies.
Right. But everything else are lies.
And then he recognizes his old crew.
Right. He's like, oh, what's up?
It's Berthold, it's
Yeah, he's
Albrecht, it's Adolphus, it's Gustavus, and they're
He's
like,
like,
no.
my name's Desmond.
We're
Like,
not
no,
those. We're not those
I don't know
dudes.
what you're talking about. You're a crazy old man.
And so then we go to public servant Horatio Jackson,
Right,
which it
the
never really says. He's
right
just an
ordinary-
elected official, so it doesn't really say
He
what's his
licenses
title.
the theater. It's the right ordinary.
Yeah, and he gets to order fucking soldiers executed. So
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
it's
He's
because
talking
there's
about,
chaos. So
he's
it's
like
just-
saving the city, but he's like, nah, like only I can win this war because I am the cause of it. Mm-hmm. It's my fault.
and the audience is like, yeah, right. They're all laughing at him.
He's like, you have a weak grasp of reality. Like your reality is bullshit, basically.
So
he's
he
like, here's a
starts-
doctor.
Yeah, he starts to
crazy.
tell his story about when he returned from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
He was warmly welcomed by the Grand Turk, His Highness the Sultan. And then we're suddenly not on the play anymore. We're like
Mm-hmm. Right.
in a flashback.
We go into like the real life story, and there's all these interesting people in like the Sultan's joint, and I can't help but notice that large naked person on the platforms with that big ass bird.
There was a lot of large half.
I saw the one just because the crack, like all I saw was crack, and I thought the bird was part of a hat.
that Sultan was into the curvy ladies.
Well, he likes big butts, and he can't deny.
That's right.
But
That
did
should
you
have
see
been
the
his little song.
platform? I know. The platforms that they were on.
No, I
they
didn't
were
really
like
notice.
big, tall, like in the middle, one piece platform.
No, I didn't notice
slip-ons
that.
they were wearing. Yeah, it was crazy.
So anyway, so we see his little harem.
Right, that's a booty you notice.
And they're talking about wine. The Baron's there
Right.
with the Sultan. They're enjoying some of the Sultan's finest wine.
But he calls it like mediocre. He insults his wine. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
I could have within the hour from the Imperial Cellar in Vienna, 1,000 miles away or so, the best whatever the fuck
It'll
it
be
is. they're
better than
drinking.
this wine.
That's better than this. And he's like, Psh.
Sure.
Right. He's like, no. If you win, you can take my head. And what do I
And the
get?
Sultan sets the thing that if you
Right.
win, you can take as much treasure as the strongest man can carry. Which, like,
I-
you brought that on yourself, Sultan.
That's a bold move.
I mean,
I
even
guess
if he didn't expect him to clear him out, but like,
No,
that's still a bold move.
it's true. But I mean, like, he saw his dudes, didn't he? Because they were all just waiting outside.
When you must have thought there would have been legends already about his crew,
Right.
Like, you don't
they-
know he got a fast dude. Maybe they don't believe it. Everybody thinks it's an
Maybe.
exaggeration. So
Well,
he's
then why
got
is he walking around with?
right. So he's got Berthold, who's got
Right.
chains, big old balls and chains.
Yeah, because he's like bullshit. You can't complete that trip for 1,000 miles away in an hour.
So they unstrap him and send him on his way, and he fucking cartoon
Yes, he's got these thunder
digs
thighs.
himself.
And these guys, and like, did you see like his gigantic pussy in those pants?
I did
Bertold,
his Bertus.
Bertuzzi. Like everything was like real muscular, and so was his pussy. I mean, like
His moose knuckle.
you could see it in his pants.
I
a
did
little-
not notice.
I did.
I was
That
not
was the thing I
clocking
was
Berthold's
looking at.
pussy. My bad.
It stood out because I noticed his big calves and his big thighs, whatever.
Yes, that I
And then
noticed.
while you're looking up, you're following the line right in the middle. Flap, flap,
I did not notice.
just flap, flap.
So he uses that powerful pussy to
Yes, to propel him
himself to Vienna.
And the Sultan turns over the hourglass, and I remember, I love his little bendy
pocket
ponytail.
hourglass, yes, the
I know,
bendy
and the little
ponytail.
pocket. But I wrote that too. I'm like, I
wanna-
want the little pocket hourglass.
Totally.
Yes.
And so they both turn over their timers. He takes off, and the Sultan brings in some light entertainment, which is his cage full of slaves organ.
Right. And he's like, I'm writing this opera. You want to hear it? And he's like, no, not really.
I wrote a song about it.
Here it go.
And he makes this. Every time he plays this organ, these spears jab the slaves inside.
Right. And it's producing yelps and screams. And then they bring in the giant to get ready.
Sharpening his
head.
axe.
Right. And he's blind.
Yeah,
And,
why
they
would
have-
you sew your executioner's eyes shut?
I don't know. And the little guy has to help him. He's always
turn him around and face him. And
Right.
why do you draw the dotted line? He can't see
he
shit.
can't see it.
Who did dotted line for? I mean,
I
yes,
don't
it's
know.
funny, but who the dotted line for?
I don't know. The Sultan?
I guess.
It's all the drama, the build up, so that he knows you're about to get your head chopped off. Mm-hmm. I guess.
So they're starting to run out of time, and the Baron whistles for his horse.
Yeah, and here comes Bucephalus.
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 And-
Bo Jesse.
We're gonna call that horse Bo Jesse Christopher from now on.
Young
And
Gromit over
nobody
here.
is phased by the fact that
No.
he jumps this horse out the trellis window to the ground
Yes.
below. The Sultan doesn't even move. He doesn't send anybody after him.
He
just continues to play his torture opera.
and that horse landed hard.
That I'm gonna guess. We'll just
it's
get
not
it.
from that high, but
Number one, it was the 80s. Number two was Terry Gilliam. Let's just say he's not known for the great and ethical treatment of actors or animals.
anything of anything.
Right. So I'm sure that some animals and people were injured in the making of this movie.
Oh man, oof.
But yeah, that it didn't go as far, I'm
That's
sure,
exactly
as it
what I
showed,
wrote.
but
I
it's
was
just, it still looked like it landed pretty fucking hard.
I wrote that same thing. I was like, Terry Gilliam doesn't give a shit about human actors, so I can't even imagine how little a shit he gives for
Exactly.
the animal ones. So now I'm sad.
Exactly.
So anyhow, Berthold has 3.5 minutes to get there.
And so he goes down to his other boys,
Right.
what the fuck? And they're not taking him seriously until he says it's a wager. And they're
And
like,
they're
oh, a
fuck.
wager.
So his compa puts his ear to the ground. Bert's sleeping. He can hear him sleeping, and his sharpshooter hits the apple in the tree.
And they said he was 900 miles away or
Yeah,
something.
I
I'm
don't know.
Damn,
3.5 minutes,
sharpshooter.
whatever. Yeah, and he fell asleep. I mean, I guess you get
You get tired when you run that fast.
I would imagine. So we got a fast man, some super sight, and some super hearing, and some super strength, and some super breath. Lots of supers. So
Lots of
time is
supers.
nearly up.
And he goes back into the Sultan, and everyone's
Well,
just still standing there like there was no big
it's a
deal about
wager.
him chasing or not chasing,
No,
but jumping the horse out the
he's
window.
a man of his word. They knew that.
He'll be right back.
But I really love this big hand
Yes,
to
to
collect
catch the head.
I like that.
I
I'd like
do.
one of those.
I do.
Berthold makes it just as the last granule.
Not
drops-
late, am I?
No, come on.
And then
Come
they
on.
got just his little braid gets chopped off.
Yes. Oh, this is where you could see that gigantic pussy in his pants. So anyway, they say that the wine is saved is good. The Sultan declares the Baron the winner, and his strong man is able to carry
Literally all of the
the
treasury.
things, and this is why the Turks are so mad.
So yes, they leave the Sultan with nothing.
The squire runs down there with that big key.
The treasurer
Oh yes, the whatever, and
He
he
just-
just whoop
chops his
Chop.
head right off.
like
Very
Billy
easily.
Miles.
Yeah, it's like Billy Miles.
and it lands in that lady's lap and it winks at her.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. So this fantastic army attempts to stop them and blocks the exits, but Gustavus,
Blows him away, literally.
and now the cannons are firing in the present, and the
Yeah, we're
theater,
back
there's
at the play.
real time, they're-
Everybody scatters.
right? The crowd's dispersing. The Baron's like, wait, I got more.
And they're like, "Yo, the stage is on fire." We're
Yeah,
outta
the
here.
right ordinary shuts it all down, and Henry begs to keep them or whatever.
And he's like, no, I want you and your company
you
out
gotta
of town
go.
by tomorrow.
Sally finds that dog on the stage, and like the Baron's dog or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, and she follows it deep backstage where she finds a Grim Reaper.
The specter of death hovering over the real Baron, attempting to take his life lights.
And she like reveals its skeleton face
She
by
knocks
like scaring
over
it.
the thing and causing it to reveal itself, and she like it's all.
And really, you can burst it into flames with a candelabra. This fucking spectral
Well,
death
because it
being.
turns into that painted set.
But yeah, it seemed too
Magic.
easy to kill one of those.
Anyhow, so she knocks over. There's the hourglass nearby him, and she knocks that over like that was his hourglass or
I
what?
guess.
Anyhow, he opens his eyes to see her in front of him with wings like an angel baby. And he is like, go away. I'm trying to die.
Yes, he's ready. He's
Like,
ready
I'm
to
tired
go.
of the world, and the world's tired of me.
And she's like, why? Why?
Like, yeah, like he would rather not adapt to changing times.
It's all logic and reason, science and progress. No place for
well,
me.
Go ahead, die out, you dinosaur.
So she starts asking about what happened after at the Sultan's palace, and he realizes, like, she really want to know.
Oh, like you want to know if the tales are true or whatever. He's like, tell me. He's like, buzz off.
But then things start fucking exploding.
Right.
And this is probably the scene that Sarah Polly talks about.
See, now I thought it was later on in the movie when they're at the big war at the end, because
probably
you could
both.
see, well, probably both, but you could see her like her reaction is pretty genuine. Like it seems like it's pretty close, but her reaction like is pretty startled.
Well, right here where she runs through the town, basically.
Well,
and,
that
like,
too, I'm sure.
runs to a cannon and starts screaming at the war to
Right,
stop.
to stop. She's like throwing rocks
at
and the Baron
soldiers.
comes out and he's like, don't you think it would be good to silence the cannons? They're like, no, but it's Wednesday.
Which, what does that mean? Is
I
that
don't
the
know.
off day for war on that side?
The Turks don't seem to know about it.
No. So he goes to load it up himself and is immediately shot into the air,
Right, he
holding on
jumps-
to this mortar thing.
Right, and he gets launched out of there, and then it bumps a cannonball back into the mortar lands.
Yeah,
in
so
the
he
can-
guides it to the Turkish camp, but then lets go and catches
Right.
a ride on a
on
returning
the other
cannonball.
side. Right,
And flies right past another specter of
like
death.
it tries to catch him, but he goes faster.
Yeah, it misses, and so he lands right back next to Sally.
Yeah,
and tells the Turks tells them the Turks are about to storm the walls.
right, and the women are begging him to save them. And he's going to go. I got to go out and find my friends. Like, I could fix this if I can go out and find my friends. He could save the city. But first, he needs their underpanties.
Which
And, it looks soiled. All of
I have a note that the smell of this hot air balloon.
Because
Girl,
we
they
also
were in a
established
war.
this in Amadeus also, where, just the filth.
There ain't no laundry.
I
soap.
know. This is even worse than the aristocracy.
Oh, and a hot air
Hot
balloon?
air in your pantaloons.
And what's his name? Desmond's over there getting all randy about these big old bloomers. And it's like, number one, they're bloomers.
Bloomers.
Number two, they smell like rancid assholes.
Oh.
Come on. These
All
people
those
are
rich
not
cheeses.
showering.
Well, no, they're not
cheeses.
showering.
The rich
All the rich cheeses and the not showering.
Yes.
And they look like I'm saying,
and
they
shitting
look like-
your pants because cannonballs are coming at your
Well,
head.
yeah, that too. There's no time to squat. You just got to go.
Or did we talk about in Amadeus the whole
Where they were
using the
squatting
bathroom
over
thing?
pots, but here it's just in the street.
Well, but who was it that was telling us about that they didn't even squat over a thing? They just stopped
would
while
go
they were
in the
walking.
hallway?
Yeah, who was just telling us that? I don't know. Was that you, Kim?
Who was
Well, it must have
telling
been
us
Liana, or who the
That
hell
they would
told
just
us that?
do
That
it
they
in the-
just would be walking down with their friend.
That's
and then they would
gross.
just be like,
Just,
"Oh, just a
shake
second,"
out a
and they would just
pantaloon.
shake out a fucking turd. Who told us this?
And
God damn
scoot
it!
it aside. Just whoop.
And just there wasn't even a designated area. It was just you just would be walking down the street and just be like, "Oh, hang on."
Walking down the road.
And that ladies didn't wear underwear under them big old dresses because they would just have to let loose.
Oh. The insides. Well, that's why the balloon looked like that.
It was some dirty damn chonies. That was a dirty chony balloon.
Oh, the smell.
I'm telling you, with the flames up under there. Mm-mm. So anyway, we find out Desmond's got a weird kink, and we make a hot air balloon. And the soldiers see it and go report back to, what's his name again? I just have Jackson.
The right ordinary.
The right ordinary.
Horatio.
And he orders them arrested and thrown
Right.
out of town.
He's like, but they're trying to leave.
And but they can't open the gates. We'll throw them over the walls.
Right.
then.
Whatever. So anyhow, they've attached the set ship.
And it's starting to float away.
To the
Baron's
thing.
saying his goodbyes.
And he's like, nope, Argus, stay back. I'll be back. You stay.
Well, the
And,
dog jumps off to stop soldiers shooting
that's right.
at him or
He's-
something.
Yeah, he does the thing and whatever. And he manages to depart. And he says, to all the ladies to who I am in debt for their frilly linens, don't catch cold.
Oh, that was my wolfy laugh.
Now they're all just airing it out down there.
And so the guy sees them leave and is like, oh, they won't get far on hot air and fantasy.
Ew.
And he goes to drop a sandbag, and there's
Just
Sally.
whoop, right over the edge. It's a good thing she gets stuck on that anchor.
Yeah, gets stuck on the anchor by her dress, and he pulls her up.
Oh, kids.
And he's like, now I gotta land and leave you. And she's like, you can't
ruined
land.
everything. But
We're
there's
over
no
the Turks.
right. There's no turning back now. So where are we going first? The first place we're going to is the moon.
Obviously.
That's the
Obs.
last place.
Come on, Sally. Where else do you go when
Where
you're trying to
else?
save a town on Earth from a little war in the
You
1800s?
go,
You go to the moon.
That was the last place that Bertholds was.
So they go back to the moon.
Yep.
And she's like, it'll take ages. No, it won't.
No, it's like right there.
And he tells her about the king and queen of the moon, who are charming and have detachable heads.
Yeah,
you know
about
this,
their,
right?
You know about their detachable heads.
Their heads go off for intellectual pursuits while their bodies engage in more bodily activities.
things. Yeah, and like sometimes the heads and bodies don't always see eye to eye.
He's like, you believe me, don't you?
Of course you do.
I'm doing my best.
Oh, yeah,
she
that's
says. She's
I'm doing
really
my
trying.
best.
She believes he's Baron Munchausen, but she's having a hard time with this
we're
story.
Going on an adventure.
So they fly through the lightning storm. They see another one of these death
Or is
specters.
it the same one? I don't know.
Well, I feel like the first one had really red hair, and then they made the rest of them. I think they were all a little bit different looking. I feel like it was multiple Reapers or something. But I don't know.
I thought they all
I
looked
don't know.
pretty similar, but who knows?
And the lightning snaps them from their balloon.
Right, and the ship falls into the sea, and the sea
Stormy
turns
sea.
into sand.
Yes. So it gets from stormy to all of a sudden very calm and shallow, and they just like scoot through the sand.
Oh, and the sand, like the hand and the sand,
The
like
moon
that's
sand.
that reminds me. That's a core memory. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here.
They wake up, and there's a house ahead. Mm-hmm. And he
And
tells
he's
her,
like, she also tells him, "You look younger."
"Oh yeah, he wakes up younger."
Right. He's like, adventure always does that to him. And he tells her that he's one of the king's favorites. And I love these little buildings like
That move around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It gives me, oh God, it's something else. And now I'm going to draw a blank. I feel like it reminds me of something.
I'm sure as soon as you say it.
The first thing that came to mind can't be what I was thinking of. Thomas and Nardo.
Oh, yeah. I see why you would say that.
That's from
I
or
see why you
something.
would say that.
That's where the town he came
Because
from.
they were
He
like
came from the moon.
two-dimensional.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
moved around.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's what I was
No,
going
but-
for, but yes, that also.
That's funny. That's funny.
So it boxes them in. The city, like, at first it cheers them and greets them.
woo,
There's
and
no
then-
people.
No.
It's just the buildings make sounds, I guess.
Then it all goes silent and the ship hits the end of the line and here come the Moon King.
The head of the Moon King, anyway.
Right. I've got you at last. Benvenuto alla luna barone.
And he is not super happy to see the Baron. He's looking a little pasty and
Yeah.
gray. Mm-hmm. And he's telling him he's not just the king of the moon anymore.
Right. You must refer to me by my whole name. King of everything. Re di tutto. But
And
you can call
he
me
is
Ray.
now ruling the universe.
Yes.
And he says he created the Baron. And the Baron's like, if you'll remember, you wouldn't be here without me. And it's like,
Oh, really?
And so the head flies off and they appear in this nice room full of little chairs and paintings. But then you realize they're up on like a plinth.
Right. Like a little platform or whatever because they're so much bigger than they are. And like his head is in some discomfort.
Yes, it's like itchy or it's
right, like
having
it's like his
twitchy.
body's up to something. So he's
And his body is chasing the queen.
of
nearby.
course like harassing the queen, and he's trying to get his head back on, which he succeeds in, which
Yes.
makes the harassment of his wife even more.
Yes,
And
which like I thought it would temper the body a bit
would
to
think.
have the head back on, but it
No.
just makes the body take over the head.
Randia.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, really.
No, you would think it would be the other
Look,
way
I'm
around.
trying to make sense out of the Moon King's floating head's
Moon the Loon.
relationship with his body. Oh, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So
But
yes, he's got lips and he's gonna use them, baby.
Yeah.
He's hassling the queen. She shoves some food in his mouth to stop
Right.
him.
And like the queen's real happy to see the Baron. Oh, Baron.
What could he possibly? This is another Midge situation, but reversed.
Oh.
So instead of
Yeah, no,
the
I know.
lady
We don't
being
need
little,
to. No, I
what
know.
in the world did he do to this?
You know
queen?
what he did, Nicole?
He like humped her clitoris.
Nope. Yep. Sure. Yep. Oh
What
God.
did he
Yep.
do though?
Oh no.
He
Just
rode
went
the
like
damn
this.
horse up there.
Oh come on.
Busabala! Forward!
He's gonna have to use just her one set of pantaloons to get back.
So anyway, she's all flirty with Baron, and
Right.
now the king
King's
comes
like,
back.
"Nah.
Like, no.
Uh-uh.
You tried to make off with my queen the last time,
Right. And then he puts him in a cage. Back.
and they find somebody in the cage.
Right. Well, the head takes off his body again, and he like catches him in a net. And he's like, "I do not have time for flatulence and orgasms."
And the queen follows, leaves them alone in the cage. And so
Right.
it's when Sally's trying to find a way out that she steps on someone's fingers.
Right. Someone's in there, and like he can't remember who he is. He's been in there so long.
All he knows is he's a very wicked criminal. But he only knows that because
Else,
he's
why
locked in a cage.
Why would he be here?
And
if
he's
he
in
wasn't?
shackles, so he must be a criminal.
He must be. Yeah, I've got these, and that's when the Baron's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? It's Berthold."
And yeah, he has no idea.
No, he doesn't know who he is.
And then here come the queen's head,
Oh,
the
and
key in her mouth,
right, just like you
releases them by spinning around with her head and with the key. But yeah, she's making all these.
Oh.
And so you presume the king's back there fucking her.
Right, but no,
He says, no. He's tickling her feet.
right.
And sure enough,
He's tickling her feet with a
tickling her
feather, and like she must get back before Roger notices that she's headless. And like, unless the Baron wants to take her with him.
without your body?
Well,
I thought you left me for my mind.
yes. And so she's like, "Here, take a lock of my hair." He's like, whack,
Wax a big old
like
lock
the
off.
whole thing off. Like,
I'm like,
that.
where'd she go get her hair done on the damn moon?
I don't know.
She had,
And
like,
he's got like
violin
an
hair.
endless supply of roses in his coat.
Oh yeah, they never stop, and they're all.
They
there's
never
only like
stop.
one that looks like a real rose in the whole movie.
No,
like
it
they're
doesn't.
all
It doesn't
just
matter.
silk
He
roses.
just has them all like lined up in there. So the king finally notices that her head
is gone. Yes,
and he's mad. He told me size doesn't make a difference.
and here with that little man.
Right, and he comes in there with that 3-headed murder bird.
And why didn't she fly them all the way to like the exit? She made them run through the fucking moon sand.
I don't
has
run
to
through
be
the
hard.
moon sand.
That has to be hard. Running through sand is hard.
I know. Well, it is. I don't run.
So yeah, the 3-headed buzzard's coming for him, but it has like a leopard body.
I don't know what's going on there. It's like a little robot.
But it's clockwork or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. It's a clockwork 3 bird.
And the king throws a spear, an asparagus spear.
Yeah,
Did you
what-
notice this?
No, that's
It
weird.
was a fucking asparagus, a giant one. At first, I was like, "Why does that spear look weird?" And then for just a second, they showed like a
Weird.
further shot, and it's a fucking asparagus.
Well,
I don't
guess
know
you
what that
call
has
them
to
a
do
spear
with-
of asparagus.
Yeah, There's some little
Asparagus?
as my mom would call it,
Asparagus.
asparagus. You guys, Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but that's a terrible, terrible thing that you say. It makes me upset every time you say asparagus
terrible
because you're making it an even harder word to say by adding that extra R. Why
You know what? You know what? Because your mom says it that way, now sometimes I say it that way.
You know what? Go wash your mouth out.
I won't
So-
say that. I won't say that.
She says wash.
I know she does.
And she knows she says it, and she knows it's wrong, and she says it because
She knows
people tell
she's
her
wrong.
to stop saying it.
Well, because you can't fucking make me.
Because nobody else in my family says Warsh.
She picked it up somewhere.
She grew up in Newport Beach.
She
Where
decided
the fuck
it
did you
sounded
get
cool.
Warsh from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyhow, asparagus.
So Baron and Sally run separate ways, and the buzzard tears itself apart.
Yes, it splits it up in 3 pieces, and the body is dead. Long live the head!
But he's got an itch.
Oh, fuck. And he sneezes and blows himself through space.
And Berthold had woke up with his memory back from running into that asparagus.
It's the
spear.
Baron. But I also remember that you left me here 20 years ago, and now you're back because it suits you? You expect me to follow you to the ends of the earth?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And there they go. And
Off
they
they
walk literally to the tip of the crescent moon because,
Right.
you know,
That's how it works.
that's how it works.
They didn't find any cheese,
This
though.
is
I
why
was-
no one believes him, he says. Things like this.
Right. They're like inside the sphere, and like there's the constellations moving
Yeah.
around or something. And they like attempt to climb down from the crescent, and then like
On
they
the
run out of
queen's
rope.
hair. Yeah.
But then the Baron offers him more. And he's like, "Where'd you get this?" He's like, "Well, from the top."
Looney Tunes physics.
Seriously,
And of course that doesn't work because
Well, once
everybody
he mentions
realizes
it.
that like
because you can't mention it.
wait a minute, we're not attached anymore.
If he never would have said anything, it would have been fine.
And as they're heading to their death,
Heading on the moon.
before we find out if they die,
Oh,
we're going to take a quick break.
yes.
We'll be
Before the
right
next
back.
world.
Yes, our next adventure. We'll be right back. All right, one thing you guys may not know about Doom Generation Podcast is we are some cheapskates.
Dude, we do not like to spend the coin at all.
So when we were about to do this podcast, we did some major searching into what is the cheapest way
We did more research into how to do this than
that
we
we
do
do for
into
the
our
podcast.
podcast.
And let me tell you what, this Anchor is like the only free platform that distributes your podcast for you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of other places.
You can do all kinds of stuff when you're doing it too. You can record your sound effects, you can manage your episodes, and you can track your little analytics.
Yep, you can see where everybody's listening from, how often they're listening.
From your phone, from
Yep.
your computer.
You
Like
can
we
record from
probably
your
still
phone.
would not have had any episodes out.
If it were not
If
for
it
Anchor,
were not for if
this
it were not for
podcast
Anchor,
would
we
not be in your
we
ear
would
holes
still-
right now.
No, it would not. We would still be just recording it for ourselves.
Yep, listening back to ourselves in
Laughing
the
at our
garage.
own jokes.
So if you would like to have a podcast, but you don't know if you want to spend any money, you need to go get this Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started now.
And we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. And we're falling down, 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 down into a volcano, into Mount Etna.
And I don't know how old I was when I realized that was Oliver Reed. But I
Yeah.
don't think I made, even though I had seen Tommy already at this point, I did not make the connection between that
No.
character and this guy.
No, and I mean, like, he's got the same crazy eyes. But, like, I think maybe because he had
so
the beard
filthy
and the,
and the
yeah, like,
beard
you,
and-
you can't really, you wouldn't necessarily have made that connection as a kid, because I don't think I did either.
No. So they land they make a big crater in the in the bottom of this volcano. Baron expected it to have had a warm cushion of air to buffer their fall,
Right.
and it did not.
And he tells Vulcan who he's looking for.
And they're talking about them being giants.
Right, but they're all kind of the same.
He reaches in and lifts up Baron, and it turns out Baron is taller than Vulcan.
Right?
And they're all they all are calling themselves giants, but they're all just average
They're
height
all just,
dudes.
yeah. I mean,
They're
whatever.
not tiny.
They're giants among
normal-sized
men.
dudes, yeah. And so he shows. Well, first he introduces himself as the god Vulcan,
Right.
and his
He
giant
provides-
employees, the Cyclops.
Yes. All of the people. He tells them that he provides weapons to whoever can pay the price. And then he shows him the RX nuclear missile. It kills everything.
The enemies, their wives, their children, their sheep, their cattle, their dogs, all
Right.
of them gone for good.
All you got to do is sit back and press a button.
And Sally thinks that's horrible.
That's not fair.
And he's like, well, but the advantage is you don't have to see it happen. You push the button from thousands of miles
Right.
away.
That's-
Berthold's like, oh, where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
So he asks them in for some tea or some food or whatever,
Right.
fodder, I think he says.
They go into the grand room, and his little
tea
manservant.
set is so dainty, so
I
he
know.
feels big. So he feels like a giant.
So yeah, his manservant happens to be,
Albrecht, their
Yes.
strong man.
but he doesn't want to be big and strong. He wants to be dainty and sensitive.
He loves it that they call him a midget.
Right. And then up comes this giant clam.
Yes, out of just like a fountain.
Right. It's just the fountain in the room. And like, it's like the birth of Venus. And the angels fly in to clothe her.
And it's
And-
Venus de Milo.
She's what? Like probably younger than her
Ooh,
daughter is now
maybe,
in
yeah.
this. Because she's pretty young.
Young Uma Thurman, lovely, naked, but you don't
Yes.
see anything because she's
Nope.
covering it all with her long tresses.
Yes. That's like, she's Venus, the wife of Vulcan.
Yes, the goddess. And he introduces her, Venus, the goddess, my wife.
My wife. And he comes over and
My
turns
wife.
my wife. He turns a piece of coal into a diamond with his bare hands.
Which is boring to her because
She's
she
like,
just
it's another diamond.
throws
Meh.
it into the pile.
We have so many.
But
18?
then-
Oh, she was 18?
Ooh, barely legal.
Oh,
And
jailbait.
Didn't you say Kim that Oliver was
oh, yeah.
hound dogging
that he-
on
Ooh.
Uma? Ooh, I heard the rain.
The
Can you guys
rain's
hear the
coming
rain?
down.
Oh, dang.
Ooh.
Hey now.
Don't
Um,
dream it's over. You said it twice.
I did. That was on me. I hit the trigger. And so Baron and Venus immediately are, ooh.
Oh, hey, oh.
Would
Like
you like
she-
to dance?
Yes, he comes in with all the poetry and they float on and Vulcan's like steaming mad.
Literally.
He's like, come and see the ballroom, everybody.
And he takes everybody in, and there they are, floating, dancing among these
The
fountains
disrespect
of water.
in his own fucking ballroom.
Right in front of my salad.
I mean, like, it's not like she's doing it against her, right? This reminds me of the Remember the Time video when Michael Jackson shows up and disrespects Eddie Murphy right in front of his house.
He sure did.
Right in front of Pharaoh.
Because, yeah, that is very disrespectful of the both of them.
The disrespect.
He is a god.
Right?
And yes, you're a goddess, and I get it. You do what you
I
want to
know.
do. But, like,
it's
you.
just still kind of rude.
But
Ellen.
right in front of your damn. Like, immediately.
I know.
You ain't
like,
even
they're-
spoken a
You're
damn
floating.
word. That's
Like,
too much. Too
Come
much.
on. I mean, she is Venus.
And he an old man, too.
She's got it.
So, baby, she's got it. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, your desire. And if you aren't as old as we are, you think that's a fucking Venus razor commercial.
It's
but
not.
no, that's Bananarama.
Yep.
And
That's
I almost-
Bananarama, y'all.
I almost doubted myself and went, no, shit, is it the Bengals? No, it's Bananarama.
It's Bananarama.
I think I got it.
Yes, you did.
I got it. I'm your fire, your desire. And so Vulcan yells at them. He drags them down by their cherub
Right.
silks and
Your
calls
cherub
her,
silk.
calls her a floozy.
Floozy. What?
Goddess, I can do what I
A
like.
strumpet, even.
Yes, and he carries the Baron back into the mines.
Right.
Chucks him into a whirlpool.
Yes.
Albrecht grabs him by the silks and is dragged into. Berthold tries to protest. He gets chucked into.
Right.
Sally chucked into.
Everybody goes in there and they go.
And Venus
whoop.
pretends to have done this on purpose to
Of course.
excite her man.
Oh, yes. They make up and mooch.
He bats his little eyes. That's the giveaway.
That's what it is right
That's
there.
the Tommy giveaway right there. How you
It's
know it's
that
the same
eye
guy that eye
battage.
bat.
Yep.
Yep. So they're spiraling down. They fall through the earth.
They land in the underside of the sea and come up to the surface upside down. They've been dropped through the center of the world to come out onto the other side.
And the Baron is old again because
Yep.
he was expelled from a state of bliss.
Oh,
He
I
blames
mean-
Sally.
yep.
And they see an island nearby only.
It's not an island.
It's
It's,
a big-ass
sea
sea
monster.
creature. And it's coming right for him.
Oh, shit. That's exactly what I wrote.
It swallows him up.
It's pretty fucking cool. It's like its own little island, and it comes up from under and swallows them whole.
I love me a giant sea
I
monster.
do. I do.
I love
It
a
gives-
swallowed, like a land
Yes.
inside the sea monster.
Yes, like a Pinocchio situation or a
Yes.
Popeye situation.
And like, but this poor thing had to have had the guts ache because it
I
didn't digest
know.
none of these damn ship wreckages.
Well,
it's just
no.
hanging out in its belly.
Well, it seemed to have room. I mean, I guess there's a reason why.
And
He didn't blow it out its blowhole.
no, They were in there presumably a long time.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
because
the
they're
first
like,
guys.
oh, we're dead. This is how.
Yeah. So
But anyhow.
they find all these shipwrecks
Right.
and they hear singing
Yes.
and they find Adolphus and Gustavus.
Everybody's there. The whole band's back together, but they're dead. This is hell. Heaven. Hell. Heaven.
And Baron settles down at the table for cards with Death.
Right.
And Sally's pissed. She's like, "You're not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let you give up."
Right. Yeah. And is Adolphus, is he the voice of Gurgi from Black Cauldron? Because he sounds like Gurgi in Black Cauldron.
Wow, I do not know.
Well, because that sticks out in my mind.
We'll see if Kim can find out.
If she
for
can
us.
think of it. But yeah, she tries to rally the group, but they're all playing cards. And the specter sits amongst them. Mm-hmm. And Sally disrupts them. And Bucephalus!
Like, how the fuck
I
Bucephalus
don't know.
get in the goddamn sea monster?
How the fuck Bucephalus?
Bucephalus? How TF?
What? The horse was there too.
And just clean as hell, dry
Right?
as hell.
Looking
just-
good.
Yep.
Fresh.
And
Fed.
he tells the crew to prepare to leave.
Right. Prepare the rowboats. Time to leave. They're like, what?
We get the line again about a modicum of snuff is most efficacious, and they
He
make
blows
the
it up the
monster
blowhole.
blow him out the blowhole and land neatly in a rowboat in the ocean.
Right.
But the Baron is missing,
Up. Yep.
and he pulls himself and his horse up
Up
out
by
of
the
the water
ponytail.
by his little braid.
Right. He's like, come on. I can't keep this up forever.
And they put him in the rowboat. Mm-hmm. They return back to town, which, like, weren't they? Didn't they say they were in like the South Seas now on the other side of the earth?
I don't know.
Why am I trying to make sense
This
of
is
this?
a
This is Looney Tunes
fantastical
rules.
story. This is
Looney
Looney
Tunes
Tunes.
rules.
He just pulled himself up.
Yes, it's clearly Looney Tunes
Yes.
rules.
This is Looney Tunes.
So they get back to shore. Everybody in the water. He
Right.
starts, barking orders, whatever.
Right. The flag is still flying. The city has not been sacked. So cool. We're good. So they get blasted on. They're inviting us to defeat them. We must oblige them.
And they discover that in the Sultan's tent is, what's his name? Horatio.
Right. He's up in there with his
He's
like
just in
little
there making like
shades on.
plans for them to surrender or
Right.
whatever. Like,
He's
it's
like-
your turn this time.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
So he's apparently just been able to end this war at any time and has allowed all of these people to die.
I guess.
And then fucking Baron just starts
Right.
chopping. Or no, first he goes to surrender himself.
Right. He's
That's
gonna
how
go.
he sees them.
That's
He's
right.
like, oh, you guys are old. You're fucking. You don't want to fight anymore. Whatever. Then I'm gonna go turn myself in.
Right, but he promised to end the siege, so he goes off. That's why he does
Right.
it, because he's promised to end the siege. So now Sally's like, but we would have spent time in that fish for nothing.
Right.
So the right ordinary is bargaining with the Sultan, but they're fresh out of virgins.
Yes. And the Baron offers his head. He goes in
Right.
and says, "Fine, you can take my head. Let's make this stop."
They bring out the blind executioner again, and the
Yes.
little guy is like,
Really, you can't see shit. Why are you
I
the
know.
fucking one in charge of this?
so he hangs that thing in the air for ages, and right before he can drop the fucking hammer,
Pew!
A shot
Adolphus
rings
the
out.
Sniper.
takes the blade off the axe, and it goes through the Sultan's hat, cutting the top off of it. Adolphus took the sharp shot and saved him. And the Baron is back, baby!
Bucephalus rides up. He gets on. He just like beheads all these fucking
Right.
Turks
Brat,
as he
brat.
rides by.
Yep.
Gustavus uses his
Yep.
wind power.
Blows the camp down. The
And
elephants are like blowing
They
away.
blow a little mouse over to the elephants and
Yes.
scare them into
Yes.
stampeding.
It makes them scared. He trips. Oh wait, that's what Berthold runs
Berthold's
off. Mm-hmm.
running off to try to stop the sniper from shooting the Baron, but
That's-
he trips.
He trips over the rock, but he gets there anyway.
So instead of being able to stop the sniper from shooting, he now has to chase the bullet
Right, he goes back the
and
other way
stop
and
it.
just pull it.
And he
it's
grabs like an armor sleeve and redirects the bullet.
right to hit
back to the sniper. Yeah.
and then he falls over, and the Baron's like, "Make yourself useful."
Yeah, like he's been doing nothing this whole time.
Okay, whatever. So now the Baron leads the army on horseback around and around and around and around until he's spinning in the middle like a carousel horse. That had to be fake horse, right? Like
I
they wouldn't.
fucking hope so.
Like they didn't just put a horse on a Lazy Susan.
You never can tell.
Well,
In
I
the
mean,
80s.
I know.
Albrecht is dragging wrecked ships out of the sea by their
Yes.
anchors and fucking spinning them over his
Spinning
head.
3 ships through
Ugh.
the air.
Tosses them right into the Turks' camp.
And it crushes some of them. And then, like, the team is won, and the Right Ordinary is gooped, and he tries to run off.
And Baron gets a hero's welcome.
The statue is repaired, and everyone is cheering in the streets. And we fly up in order over, and we see the Right Ordinary is up there behind the Statue of Death, sniping
Snipes him.
right by little Sally. They probably had a real shooter. I mean, probably had a real shooter. That squib ran off right next to her head.
Baron falls from his horse, and the Reaper sculpture bursts open,
Yes!
and the real one comes out. And they call a doctor over, but it's really this Reaper. This
I know,
creepy
but it's like
comes
Dr.
over.
Death.
Yeah, he's like, no doctors, no doctors.
Unfortunately, it's Dr. Death. So Sally knows.
She can see it.
Yeah, that
she's
she-
trying to push it away, but they drag her off.
Oh no, and the ghost manages to get his life lights and like flies off. He's all dead.
Here lies Baron von Munchausen.
The city's savior.
They're laying him to rest, and as he's lowered into his tomb,
Yep.
you hear him speaking
Yes.
because none of this happened.
Nope.
And
He
they
was
are
like,
back
that
on
was
stage.
like only one instance in which I met my death. And now we're back on real time when the actors are like, oh, wait.
we're still in the middle of a
acting."
war.
Like, yeah.
And yeah.
Well, no, but they're like, they got so into the story, even
Mm-hmm.
the actors are like, oh, shit. I forgot we were here. And the right ordinary comes in and calls for his arrest. Like,
Under
how could
arrest.
you do this with the enemy at the door? And the Baron's like, open up the gates.
And nobody's listening to him, which so
No.
I'm guessing because all the soldiers were also in there listening to his tall tale.
Right.
Because they were in there initially during the play.
Yeah.
Because, everybody has just stopped listening to the fucking dude in charge.
No, he's like right ordinarily fucked because he sits there like only his little dude is like still with
Yeah.
him.
And Sally Salt's dad, oh my God, he is into it.
I know, but like, did you notice that his edges are coming
Oh,
up?
yes.
Like it's so
why
hot out
is he
there.
still wearing that fucking wig?
I don't know, but I like it with the bangs.
Yeah, but you can see like his brown hair.
Oh, I know.
popping out
Like
the
you could see
edges.
it coming off the edges. Come on. Come on.
So they get out there, they open the gates, and the Turks have gone.
Everybody's gone.
Which, they just got tired of
I
blowing
guess.
shit
Like,
up?
did they really like? Why the fuck not? I don't know.
And here come Bucephalus.
Bucephalus. He
Sally's
comes
like-
running. He's a good boy, and the Baron bids farewell to the beautiful ladies.
Sally's like, it wasn't just a story, was it?
Uh,
He just throws a flower at her, kind of
Right.
chucks it at her.
He kind of throws it at her, yeah, a little bit.
Right in the fucking eye.
Right in the eye, and like,
Gives her a smile and rides off into the horizon.
yep, that's exactly what I wrote. Rides off into the horizon.
But her dad does change the name of the business to Salt and Daughters.
Yes, that's true.
Which he only had one, so where's her
I don't
sister?
know because it's traditional.
But yes, I love this movie. I've seen this movie so many times.
I hadn't seen it in a really long time, and it was a good movie to watch today on the rainy day schedule.
Yes, definitely.
It was nice.
I enjoyed it.
It was.
So if you haven't seen this, seek it out. I don't know whether I don't think it's streaming anywhere right now.
No, I had
unfortunately.
to rent it.
Yeah,
did.
but we have one yearbook signing this week.
Ooh.
We got an email.
Ooh.
Hey gals, I just finished the X-Files episode and I have to tell y'all that I was properly traumatized by the Fluke Man. Oofa doofa when he was in the porta potty. Cry face. I still think about it every time I use one. Love the podcast. Best, the Bye Barbarian. Thank you.
Thanks.
And yeah, that's it for this week. If you guys want to leave us a yearbook signing, you can call us at 702-720-DOOM. And we can play a voicemail on the show, or you can text us at that number. Once
Yep.
again, 702-720-3666. You can send us an email to doomgenerationpodcast@gmail.com.
We'll
you can
read that.
leave us a 5-star Apple review.
That would be
We only accept
preferable.
5 stars. Sorry.
Except we do not give change.
No. And if you leave any reviews on there, we will read those out loud. Or if you just like say to me in a DM, use
just
this
say
as
something?
a yearbook review or
Just
whatever.
say something.
A yearbook signing, we will do it. And do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
That might be it.
Oh,
And so, until next week.
We'll see you next time or whatever when we talk to you next time then.
And that will happen when it happens. And
Yes,
then
it
we
does.
will be there.
Not a moment before.
And that will be the time.
Yep. Later,
Doomers.
doomers.